Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Natja. I'm an artist and illustrator from the Netherlands. I visited one of my favorite art supply stores. We are going to travel there, so I'm going to take you on a little trip again. I'm going to show you all of the art supplies that I purchased, and I'm also going to do a little demo at the end of the video for some of the art supplies I got there, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Straight as an arrow flies, nowhere to be, no dreams to chase tonight. We've got time to waste, let's waste it right.
I'm very excited to see all of these supplies again. I haven't looked at the inside of the bag since my trip. I had to have a lot of constraint. We're now going to open the bag together and see what's inside. As always, I started by purchasing new pencils, just graphite pencils. STAEDTLER, one of my favorite brands for pencils, and it's the Mars Lumograph series. As you can see, I got 5 pencils. I prefer to use very soft pencils for my sketches. It just feels right for me. It's delicious sketching with soft pencils, I think. I do sometimes use hard pencils. It's especially if I need to outline a certain illustration that I need to paint over and the lines cannot be visible. But typically when making graphite art pieces, I do like to use softer pencils. And I think I've used these ones before. STAEDTLER is always a great brand to use anyway, so I do think they will be just fine. These also need to be sharpened really badly. Another thing I purchased, and I also almost every time show this to you, so I will make it quick. This is the Tombow Mono Zero refill. It's actually 2 refills. These are for my small mechanical eraser, the Tombow Mono Zero. And these are really small erasers. I use them to erase small details and to add some small white elements to graphite pencil illustrations. I also always get these in an art supply store because I use them so often. I really recommend this if you are working with graphite and work quite detailed. One thing I also often purchase when in the art supply store are these Vinci brushes. They are synthetic brushes for watercolors, and I also use them for gouache paint. I'm a little bit terrible at brushes, I must say. I often lose brushes. Sometimes I've put the brushes upside down into the water container, and let me just tell you, that's not good for the tip. It will bend. I think in general the tips of brushes often do not stay this sharp very long. Maybe I just need to try a different brand for once, but I am not a fan of brushes that have animal hairs. So if you do know a good brand that has synthetic hairs and they last long and have a great quality, do let me know in the comments. For now, I will keep using these. They are quite inexpensive, but it would be nice to have brushes that are a little bit more durable, I think. I also stocked up on watercolor and gouache paint. I just was craving some new colors, and I just went into the store not really needing a certain color, but I did want to be inspired by the colors. I chose these 4 new gouache paint tubes. I actually never have used Winsor & Newton gouache paint before, so this is very new to me. It was recommended to me by one of the staff members of the store. I'm going to be surprised and see for myself if I like them. I think these colors will be amazing. I'm very excited to see what the quality is like. I also got new watercolor pens. It's cobalt turquoise light, cobalt blue deep, and Naples yellow. I always just navigate towards blue tones, I notice. I'm just in a blue phase within my work, so that's fine. I'm going to add these to my tin can. I think this is a refill which I needed, so this one was something that I did need from the store, and the other ones I just picked because they were so pretty. These weren't the only gouache paints that I purchased. In the store I was actually looking for Holbein gouache. I may butcher that name, but nonetheless it's my favorite brand for gouache since a little while now. These gouache paints I ordered online. I ordered them from a Dutch company called Splendid. For a while now it has been one of my favorite online stores to purchase my art supplies. On my birthday I received a really gorgeous set of gouache paints from my husband. They were also Holbein, and since then I'm just so over the moon with the quality of these paints. It's just unbelievable. The texture is so buttery smooth. Pigment is really nice and saturated. In the set that I received from my husband, they were mostly basic colors. I saw these beautiful colors on the website, and each one of them is a color that really speaks to me. Even together they form this lovely palette, I think. So I'm not going to try and pronounce the names of these colors. They're quite challenging to pronounce, but each of them is equally beautiful, I think, and I can't wait to try these out. This color, moss green, looks really promising, as does the pale coral, I think. Of course, I also needed to get another turquoise. This one also looks so yummy. I think these colors also fit in really nicely with the other colors that I got. Of course, I needed to get some new paper, and this is just my go-to paper for watercolor and gouache. You may know this if you watch my channel more often. I always pick Arches watercolor paper. It's a 300 grams paper and it's hot pressed, very important to me, and it has a fine grain, which means that the paper is really smooth and you can add a lot of detail, and it's not that rough. For more texture and I don't know, experimenting, I would use a paper that's a little bit more rough and textured. But for my usual illustrations, this paper works perfectly because of the fine grain. And I picked two different sizes this time. This one is an A4 size. This one is A5 size. I don't think that I had this size before. I do think it's very convenient for smaller artworks. This time around, I also got a little bit of miscellaneous paper to try out. This is handmade paper and it's very thick, 320 grams. 20 sheets. Let's open it real quick. So they are A6 sized papers, very thick. And this paper has a little bit of a more rough texture, as you can see. So this will be great for illustrations with more texture and maybe not as stylized as my usual work, but I would love to experiment with this. I always love the edges of paper so much when it's handmade. Come to think of it, I also would like to use this for lino printing. I think this will be a great size for a lovely little print for my Etsy store. And yeah, really looking forward to how this paper will feel and how it will hold the paint. Looking forward to try that out. So I did get another thing in the category of paper, and it's something that I've been looking for. I saw it online and I never ordered it. When I was at the store, I just couldn't leave it there. But I got 3 of them. The little Hahnemühle Zigzag books. I'm not sure if you ever saw one, but they are so tiny and cute. If you haven't seen it before, you may wonder what makes the book so special. I already unwrapped one for you, so I'm going to show you. Look at this little elastic. It's so cute. At the back we have the little Hahnemühle logo embossed. Let's look inside. Look at that. Isn't this amazing? I'm just getting so enthusiastic all over again. It has 18 pages. That's front and back, by the way, so if you don't want, you don't need to fill the back, I think. So it's a zigzag book, and these pages are all attached to each other. I believe it does hold paint, and I would really like to try and create a little cohesive set. Look. So cute. Well, I immediately got 3 of these little books. They are not very expensive. I just wanted to have one little backup, if that makes any sense, for, you know, if it doesn't go according to plan. So I have a little backup, and then I just also got one for if I really enjoy making one, I can make another one. We are already on to the last item that I purchased at the art supply store. It's Jaxel Soft Pastels. I have been looking at pastels with this color scheme when I was in an art supply store previously, and I really regretted not taking it back then. So this time around I thought, you know, I'm going to pick something that I really like and be surprised, and that was that miscellaneous item. So it has these earthy tones, this nature palette. The colors already work well together. I'm going to use them for textures. I love to add pastel to my gouache paintings and my watercolor work. It just creates a lovely texture, and I have been collecting pastels ever since I found out I can create a lovely texture with it. Because I draw a lot of animals, this is a really great color range to have, I think. Here you can see all of the art supplies that I purchased on my trip. Although the bag wasn't all that large, there are a lot of new art supplies to try out. Of course, these paints I ordered online, but all the other items come from the art supply store. So let's move on to the little demo portion of this video. So, fill and I just want to have it. I just had to have 3. These are blah blah blah.